Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Let your past make you better, not bitter. Usually what happens, imagine something bad happened in the past. Obviously, you think about that and you feel bitter. Here it says, let your past make you better. Means what? Learn from your mistakes and try to become a better person based on your past experiences and don't feel bitter about the past. A very useful quote. And here I would like to give two idioms when a lot of people they think or spend a lot of time on the past. Then we say, don't brood over the past, don't dwell on the past. So this is a very useful quote. Let your past make you better, a better person, not bitter. Let us go to the phrasal verb of the day. What is today's phrasal verb? Come down on. Come down on, an important phrasal verb. It goes with effective English as well as for informal English. Punish or criticize. Look at the example. They came down on him hard when they found out he had been missing school. This goes with an informal context. The governor has promised to come down hard on corruption. Come down hard. Come down hard on corruption. Looks like today's net. Can you see the second slide? Phrasal verb. Good evening. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, Saturday, I was to take the session, but I got held up in a meeting and I could not communicate also. It was pretty late by the time I reached, so I could not communicate. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now I see the second slide. Today, I think very slow lag time. Coming to the second example, the governor has promised to come down hard. Here, come down, it also takes the word hard. And you have to remember the preposition. What is the preposition here? Come down hard on someone. One, it goes with, if you look at the word combinations, here, students. And I would like to take your feedback. Usually, I come with a white background, but today it is a different color. Is it okay or you prefer white? This is not exactly black, dark blue. So it goes with students, kids, employees, workplace. Today's editorial is an easy editorial. It is all about the US Open. Today it must have started already. The US Open, any editorial that deals with sports, especially tennis, a bit of background information, like who are the players when it comes to men's, who are the players when it comes to women, and usually it is part of the Grand Slam. All this information easy to understand. Otherwise, also today's editorial is an easy one, but there are some idioms. The writer has used a lot of idioms. Let us start with the first one, an even chance. This is also an idiomatic expression. I want your feedback regarding this backdrop, regarding white backdrop. Please give the feedback because you are at the receiving end. If you give the feedback accordingly, I will change. Ultimately, what matters, you are going to receive. As receivers, you should give the feedback. I see a lot of students, they say white. I appreciate your feedback. And if, for today, we have to manage. Now I cannot change. For today, somehow you have to manage. An even chance, an equal likelihood of success or failure. Equal likelihood. Chances are there, an even chance. What is opposite? The chances are odd, ODD. Chances are odd means what? The chances are not positive. The chances are not bright, you can say. Here, I would like to write the expression chances are odd, means the chances are not very bright and chances are bleak. Grueling. One student says black better. We'll see majority. I always go with the majority. Here, grueling experience, grueling act, grueling some sort of situation. Extremely tiring and demanding. Imagine tennis is based on your stamina, your power, and to what extent you can withstand that playing for 2 hours or 3 hours. So, extremely tiring and demanding, an important word. It also goes with the workplace. Fatigue, an important word. This also goes with the workplace, and fatigue means extreme tiredness. Fatigue can be physical, fatigue can be mental. If you work a lot using your brain, then it results in mental fatigue. But if you play something like tennis or football, it results in physical fatigue. Defatigable, very good word. Now let us go to buck. This is also an idiomatic expression. Oppose or resist something oppressive or inevitable. So you have competition, someone is against you, you try to oppose or resist, then we use to buck, not a regular one. Get underway, we use this regularly. It goes with a program, it goes with a match. To begin to happen, the tournament, the match is underway. Means what? It is happening right now. Triumph, we have got many a time, part of speech noun, a great victory. And maiden, see here today, a few changes you can see. I haven't brought the parts of speech intentionally. When I read the word, you try to write the part of speech, guess. Made, I will make the combinations, then it becomes easy for you to guess also. Maiden speech, maiden something means what? Being or involving the first attempt or act of its kind. Maiden venture. Huh. But here, debut. Here you have to think of the other meanings. When we say maiden over, it has nothing to do with this meaning. Maiden over means an over where no runs scored. I'm sure you all know that. Stupendous, an important word I think we have got for the first time, but generally, informal English we use this. It also goes with formal English. Extremely impressive. Stupendous performance, stupendous effort, extremely impressive. Show the mettle. We use this at the workplace to show how tough one is. When you are exposed to problems, you remain tough, and we want you to remain tough. Then what do we say? Show your mettle. We use a possessive pronoun. Show your mettle. But here I would like to give an important quote. When going gets tough, the tough get going. A very useful quote. When going gets tough, the tough get going. When going gets tough, the tough people get going. They keep moving. And those who are not tough, they give up. They quit. Herculean task. This is also an idiomatic expression. Extremely difficult. But for this, generally, I use an uphill task. Both mean the same. Uphill task, maiden over, but meaning is entirely different. Uphill task, Herculean task, one and the same. Content has many meanings based on the editorial to compete with someone. Sprightly usually goes with an old person. Usually, old people are supposed to be a little dull. But imagine in this context, 36 is considered old. Djokovic, he is 36, but if you take the realm of tennis, 36 and oldie, lively, full of energy. He's still playing with youngsters who are about 20, 21. So sprightly goes with Djokovic. Outlast, it's a verb. Live or last longer. Previous word, you may think because of ly an adverb, but sprightly person, sprightly player, it is an adjective, do remember. Content is a verb. Let us go to outlast is also a regular verb. Live or last longer than. Here it does not go with live. Last longer than when it comes to the tournament or the match. Pulsating, pulsating. Very exciting, pulsating match. Very exciting match. Reigning goes with sports, other things also you can use. Currently holding a particular sporting title. Generally, we use a combination, a reigning champion of the US Open, typical combination. These words are very important. They come under moral, morale. Moral means a value, ethics, morals, values, ethics. But morale, part of speech, noun. The confidence, enthusiasm, and the discipline of a person or group at a particular time, usually tough time. Imagine soldiers are facing tough time. Imagine employees are facing tough time, companies not doing well. Then one has to give a pep talk. Pep talk means encouraging talk to improve their morale. Morale goes with the workplace. It also goes with the soldiers. Important. A roster we have got for the first time, a list or plan showing turns of duty or leave for individuals or groups in an organization. A plan for individuals when it comes to duty or leave. A roster, an important word. Embellish goes with formal English, make something more attractive, more decorations, more additions, embellish. And this you got to be careful. Embellish is a regular verb. Realm is a noun. A field or domain of activity or interest. You got to be careful here. Realm. How do you pronounce that? Realm. An important word. These are the words from the editorial. The tone of the editorial is informative and analytical. The writer does not take a personal stand, purely analysis and informative. It discusses the prospects of players, obviously, both male and female, in the upcoming 2023 US Open tennis tournament. It has started today. It provides details about the challenges faced by players trying to defend their titles. So far, the US Open, only Roger Federer has defended the title, highlighting historical examples and potential obstacles, hurdles, impediments. The tone remains objective, not subjective, objective. Subjective means personal, objective means based on facts, while offering insights, deep understanding into the players' situations and the dynamics of the tournament using facts and observations to present a comprehensive overview. Comprehensive, an important word. What does it mean? Taking everything into consideration. Here, usually I give the word holistic. You should also think of the word exhaustive. Holistic, exhaustive, comprehensive, they all mean the same. Obstacles, hurdles, hindrances, bottlenecks, impediments, all the words you have to recollect. As I said, an even chance, equal this side or that side, it is related to the US Open, one of the Grand Slam tournaments. Alcaraz will have a tough time defending his US Open title. Who is the reigning champion? From this, you understand the reigning champion is Alcaraz. Based on that, it says Alcaraz will have a tough time defending his US Open title. And now it substantiates why is it difficult for Alcaraz to defend his title. The last men's singles player to defend the US Open title was Roger Federer in 2008. After 2000, where is 2008? Where is 2023? So many years have passed, except Roger Federer. After Roger Federer, no one could defend the title. That is strange. And it also speaks volumes about how difficult it is to defend the US Open title. Even Novak Djokovic, who is among the greatest hardcore players, has found it tough. And Djokovic, the one with the maximum titles, I think so far he has got 23 Grand Slam titles, and Nadal 21. Even Novak Djokovic, who is among the greatest hardcore players, has found it tough. Present perfect. The reasons may be many. Now the editorial says, what could be the reasons? The reasons may be many. A surface that gives everyone an even chance. It may go this side or that side. Grueling late night matches, grueling, tiresome, tiring, late night matches, and end of season fatigue, to name a few. End of a particular season, already you have played a lot of matches, you're exhausted, and that results in fatigue, tiredness, to name a few. Many reasons, these are some of the reasons. Carlos Alcaraz will look to buck this very trend. To buck means what? To resist this very trend when the 2023 edition gets underway, when it begins at Flushing Meadows on Monday. The 20-year-old, this guy is very young, Alcaraz, the 20-year-old Spaniard, he belongs to Spain, won his maiden Grand Slam crown in New York last year. He got his first Grand Slam title last year in New York, that too with the US Open, and backed that up with the stupendous, extremely impressive triumph victory at Wimbledon over Djokovic. I don't know how many of you watched the finals of Wimbledon. It was quite exhilarating, pulsating, and nerve breaking. In the final set, Spaniard Alcaraz prevailed upon Djokovic. He lifted the cup, Wimbledon. In a short career, the world number one, who is the world number one right now? Carlos Alcaraz is the world number one. And he's only 20. So a short career. In a short career, the world number one has shown, present perfect, the mettle. Show your mettle means show how tough you are. And mettle and focus required to be serially successful. Means what? The US Open, the Wimbledon, first US Open, then Wimbledon. Now he's going to face the US Open, defending titles at Barcelona and Madrid this year. Barcelona, Madrid, some titles he could defend. But to do that at a major, Barcelona, Madrid, not the major titles. Today, if you take tennis, we have the Grand Slam tournaments. There are four in number. What are the four? The US Open, Wimbledon, Australian Open, and French Open. US Open, Wimbledon, Australian Open, French Open. And other titles perhaps challenging, but the major titles, these four, count a lot when it comes to international tournaments or getting the ranks. But to do that at a major is a Herculean task. To defend at a local tournament, not that difficult. But when it comes to a major tournament like any of the Grand Slam events, not easy to defend. To highlight that the writer has used is a Herculean task, an uphill task, a daunting task. He has to also contend with Djokovic, who at 36 still looks sprightly. He has to compete with Djokovic, who at 36 in the field of tennis, it is a retirement age. Usually after 30, tennis players slow down because it demands a lot of stamina, a lot of strength, mentally, physically. But Djokovic 36 and he looks sprightly, means what? Very active and dynamic. At the recent Cincinnati, Djokovic lost the Wimbledon to Alcaraz, but at the recent Cincinnati Masters, the Serbia, and Djokovic belongs to Serbia and Serb, outlasted, won against Alcaraz, and perhaps he could dominate over three pulsating sets in a final that lasted nearly 4 hours. Usually, five sets take 4 hours, only three sets, 4 hours. That means it was very tough, grueling experience. But the 23-time major winner, Djokovic, has won so far 23 Grand Slam titles. The 23-time major winner may well find added motivation if he so desires to course correct at the US Open, a tournament where he has lost a record six finals. So far, Djokovic has lost six finals at the US Open. And why? Being defaulted once? No. He lost six finals, defaulted once. I think he threw a ball, it hit one of the girls or boys who are there in the court. So defaulted and barred from competing for refusing to take the COVID-19 vaccine. So many times entering the finals, not getting the title, definitely the person will be highly motivated to get the title. The first part deals with men's tennis. Usually, if you take the Hindu editorial, whenever it comes to tennis, my observation, or any sport for that matter, three-fourths related to men, and the fag end of the editorial, perhaps one or two sentences, not even one-fourth, women. But this editorial, for the first time, there are two parts. First part deals with men's tennis, second part deals with women's tennis. Among women, a reigning champion, remember the combination, the present title holder, reigning champion, Iga Swiatek, is the main draw card despite. Then you have to recollect the other word, in spite of. Common error, people write in spite one word, of one word. No, in spite of three separate words. And between the two, despite is a little more formal than in spite of. The main draw card, despite a not so encouraging build up. That means in the recent past, she could not get a lot of titles. The Polish world number one may have, Poland, she belongs to Poland, world number one may have lost in the semi-finals in both Montreal and Cincinnati, but her form in 2022 was worse. She lost both Montreal and Cincinnati, but her form in 2022 was worse. Bad, worse, worst. Just to substantiate that, just two match wins in the two lead up events, and that did not stop her from securing the top prize. However, the rise of Coco Gauff adds a new dimension. Looks like a new player. The 19-year-old American has won 11 of her 12 singles matches since Wimbledon. That is wonderful, quite impressive. 11 of her 12 singles matches since Wimbledon, and claimed two of her biggest trophies. What are those trophies? Washington WTA 500 and Cincinnati World Tennis Association 1000. Credible, appreciable. There was also the morale boosting victory, morale boosting. When you're facing tough time, when you're in difficulties, you remain tough. Then we use a term, you have the right morale to go ahead. Once you lose your confidence in a tough situation, you lose your morale, the confidence, then you cannot proceed. So morale is very important. Usually it goes with one war. Imagine a particular country in a war losing slowly. Then the morale of the soldiers goes down. Someone has to give an inspiring talk to boost up their morale. It also goes with a company. If the company is not doing well, the profits are dwindling, then the CEO or the president or the vice president has to give an inspiring speech to boost up the morale of the employees. An important word. There was also the morale boosting victory in Cincinnati over Swiatek, to whom Goff had lost all seven of her major previous matches in 11, all 14 sets. Morale boosting victory. Imagine she lost all seven of her previous matches and all 14 sets. But recent victory definitely it builds up or boosts her morale. The women's roster is further embellished. A roster, the plan, it goes with employees who has to go on leave, who has to report. But in this context, the players embellished, decorated. The women's roster is further embellished by the presence of Aryna Sabalenka, and winner of the 2023 Australian Open and a semi-finalist at French Open and Wimbledon. That is quite impressive. Winner Australian Open and semi-finalist at French Open and Wimbledon. Elena Rybakina, another player, Wimbledon champion in 2022 and runner-up in Melbourne, Marketa Vondrousova, titleist at Wimbledon, and Ons Jabeur, a three-time major finalist. All these are players representing women's tennis, and it is the statistical data who won, who lost. Jessica Pegula, the world number three from the US, is in the mix too, following the high in Montreal. That means she must have won something or entered the quarterfinals or semifinals. At the fag end of the editorial, but unlike the men, three women singles players have defended. First part talks about men not able to defend the title. after 2008. And who was the last player to defend the title? Roger Federer. But unlike the men, three women singles players have defended the titles this millennium. Who are those three women tennis players who could defend their titles? The US Open, one Venus Williams, her sister Serena Williams, and Kim Clijsters. A fourth is well within the realm of possibility. Means this is a very good sentence. A fourth is well within the realm of possibility, domain of possibility, field of possibility. That means the chances are very bright when it comes to women's tennis for the reigning champion to defend the title. It ends on a positive note. Let us go to the questions based on your comprehension skill. Based on this editorial, who was the last men's singles player to defend the US Open title before Carlos Alcaraz? What are some of the reasons mentioned? If at all, if he defends, this question comes into existence. What are some of the reasons mentioned for players finding it tough to defend their US Open titles? You have to mention the quote. Which major title did Carlos Alcaraz win before the 2023 US Open? You should mention Wimbledon, but write complete sentences. How has Carlos Alcaraz performed in terms of defending titles at tournaments like Barcelona and Madrid? He could. He performed well. How did Novak Djokovic perform against Alcaraz in the recent Cincinnati Masters final? He prevailed upon Alcaraz, and it was a 4 hour match, only three sets. Usually 4 hours, 4 hours, five sets, but here only three sets. Best of three, 4 hours, not an easy task. Let us go to questions. Write about the editorial in brief. This is an easy one, so I strongly recommend write about this editorial. That gives you immense confidence. Always remember systematic approach. You should go from simple to complex, easy to difficult. Start with something easy, you gain confidence, motivation, enthusiasm, then deal with something difficult. And interesting to not so interesting. I will not use boring, not so interesting. This should be the approach, systematic approach. Today's editorial, why new questions I will not answer, Pandu. I can answer only questions related to this editorial, but you're talking about between India and China. I'm not able to read your. Okay, I got it. Now, all of you listen. Pandu has a question. Today, the two editorials. One deals with the relations between India and China along the border line of actual control. The other one is the US Open. That's a very good question, Pandu. His question is, sir, why not the first one? Why the second one? I brought the second one. Always remember, I bring the editorials based on to what extent the students can improve their English proficiency. Everything else is secondary for me. When I start the session, I say, good evening to all, welcome to the session. And I mention proficiency to improve your English, yes or no? And I feel this editorial, some words are there, important words. And based on that, so many idioms have been used. Especially, I brought this based on the vocabulary, editorial vocabulary, and the idioms. Based on these idioms, tomorrow I'm going to come up with related idioms. So that will definitely help language point of view. That is a bottom line. I hope you got it. I always decide based on this editorial to what extent it is going to help the students' language proficiency. Everything else is secondary. And sometimes I bring controversial topics like BJP. And some students may think, sir, why always usually the Hindu goes against editorial against the BJP, against ruling current regime. So I caution people, see, this is not my personal stand. It is not subjective, it is objective. And why do I bring? It is against the government, still I bring because vocabulary, so many words students can learn, effective English they can learn. That is the reason why I had to bring this. I hope you got the answer. That's a good question. Everyone should know that. Now let us go to practice questions based on error location. The first set, try to answer the first one. A 40% export levy on onion exports imposed with immediate effect till at least December 31st. Comprehension is one thing, vocabulary, effective English is another thing. Here, in favor of effective English and vocabulary. Pandu has not responded, others have responded. Anyhow, the one who asked the question hasn't responded. Where is the error? Ah, now he has responded, Pandu. My pleasure. You're welcome. A 40% export levy on onion exports imposed. There's an error in the second part. Government imposes taxes on someone or something. Then government does action and the other one receives action. Here, a 40% export levy on onion exports. That means we should use passive voice, not active voice. Was imposed. So what is missing here? Was imposed. Then it is correct. And was imposed with immediate effect till at least December 31st. So what is this? Past tense, passive voice. Past tense, the government imposed something, something was imposed by the government. On Sunday, the government has also announced a hike in buffer stocks of the curry essential. In the context of the editorial, curry essential means what? Onion, not onion, onion. By 2 lakh metric tons. Where is the error? On Sunday, the government has also announced a hike in buffer stocks of the curry essential by 2 lakh metric tons. No one has responded. An easy one. Today, the lag time is more than 20 seconds, I suppose. I don't see your answer. Should not take this long. Here, the announced, now I see Ganesh has got it right. No, not had. You don't have to use past perfect here. Here we have on Sunday, the time that goes into past. Past time, independent past time, and present perfect, wrong combination. They have given in many exams. Here you cannot use past perfect. It's only one idea. Based on that, on Sunday, see, whenever you read a sentence, focus on the time phrases. That is the first thing. On Sunday goes into past. Based on that, you have to use past tense. On Sunday is what? Specific. Specific, independent, time phrase. Then you should use past tense. Imagine you have the same time phrase that goes into the past with since or for. Then you have to think of either present perfect tense or present perfect continuous tense. Here you cannot use past perfect. To use past perfect, you need two actions. First action, second action. First action, past perfect tense. Second action, past tense. But here only one idea, not two ideas. Please go to the next one. Markets are shut in protest in Nasik, Asia's largest onion trading hub, as farmers feared a glut and a price crash. That's right. Where is the error? Question number 3. Markets are shut in protest in Nasik, Asia's largest onion trading hub, as farmers feared a glut and a price crash. Here the clue for you, farmers, why as farmers feared a glut and a price crash. The context refers to past. Government has taken a decision, imagine. The reaction of the farmers, then past context. Based on that, they did something that goes into the past. So past context, which tense do you use? Past tense. Based on that, there's an error in the very first part. Hema has got it right. Only one so far to get it right. Markets were shut in protest. Now I see Suresh, Sudhir, diehard fans were shut. So which tense is that? Past tense. And why should we use past? Context goes into the past. Context is always important. Understand the context. Question number 4. How this attempt to balance the interest of consumers and farmers play out remains to be seen. This is a little challenging. You got to be careful. How this attempt to balance the interests of consumers and farmers play out remains to be seen. This is a good sentence. First you respond, then I will tell you how to look at a sentence like this. That will help in the long run. How this attempt, that is a subject, to balance the interest of consumers and farmers, that is a phrase. Put the phrase in brackets. Attempt is third person singular. Sentence is in present tense because another clause you have remains to be seen, that is also in present. Then you cannot say play out, you have to say plays out. How this attempt plays out, then it is correct. How this attempt plays out remains to be seen. And this is based on what we call usually subject, verb, agreement. And also present tense, obviously. Go to question number 5. A profligate, lavish, extravagant. An important word you have to remember. A profligate use of such blunt policy interventions end up distorting sowing preferences in the coming year. A profligate use, that is a subject, of what? Of such blunt policy interventions. Phrase put in brackets. Anusha is the first one, or Ramesh? No, Anusha is the first one. Question number 5. She got it right. Suresh has got it right. And here we cannot say end up. We have to say ends up. What is the subject here? Profligate use. That's a noun phrase. Use. Use ends up. Again, it is based on subject, verb, agreement. Next one, cloze test. At the outset, I would like to caution this cloze test is not easy. The reason being, we did not do this editorial. Last week, it was another editorial, and it goes with a particular context. You have to understand the context, then you have the words. Try to get all 8 correct. We have 8 words here. If you get all the 8 words correct, be happy because you have not done this. We have not done this. For the first time, you are exposed to this paragraph, part of an editorial, and contextual awareness. Madhav, indiscriminate, but I gave the words lavish, extravagant, indiscriminate. Indiscriminate has a negative connotation, usually discrimination, negative connotation. Read this one. Thailand has had phases of democratic experiments, but the military has always maintained, and that is a clue for you. You cannot consider A, B, and F, other words, which is a correct one. Outsized, very good. Here I will write E. Outsized influence. Over the past century, the Thai military has carried out over a dozen. Usually, this goes with once you read the paragraph, you have to read, you understand. It is about military, the impact of the military, and also democratic process. Democratic process. Two things have been touched. Here it should have been plural form. Over the past century, the Thai military has carried out over a dozen coups. P should be there. While typing, I error, typo. A is the answer. With all being, with all being what? By the monarchy. So, what is the right word? Third one. Once we choose a word, I will underline, then you have to think of the other words. We have used outsized, we have used a coups. The letter P is silent. Coup. With all being, no, no. Not ousted, no, no, no. Here you have to say endorsed by the monarchy. C is the word. Endorse, Naidu has got it right. C, and also Ganesh, Kavita, very good. C, perfect. Then Rajshekhar and Kalashri. So, endorsed by the monarchy. Endorse means what? Publicly support. Usually, endorse a product, it goes with a celebrity. The militaries has also produced a resistance. Militaries, what produced what sort of resistance? You should understand. Off and on, sometimes no, sometimes on, sometimes off. So, what is the first one? Fourth one, the militaries. It should be a negative word because it produced a resistance, negative word. Something bad you try to resist. So the militaries, no one has responded the fourth one. Not G. G is what? Incarnation? No, no, no. Not the right word. Fourth one, not B also. No, no one has got it right. The military is a stranglehold. F is the answer. Stranglehold means being strong in something. Usually it goes with elections. When it comes to elections, a particular party is contesting from a particular constituency, then we say it is a BJP's a stranglehold. It is Congress Party's stranglehold. Means their strength, they're very strong in that constituency. Answer is F. The military stranglehold or strength has also produced what sort of resistance? Populist resistance, public resistance, resisted, populist resistance off and on. The Pew Thai party itself is a third of the pro democracy movement. Here you have to use the word incarnation. Sixth one is what? Incarnation. G is the answer. The Pew Thai party itself is a third incarnation of the pro democracy movement. In rebirth, incarnation, pro democracy movement founded by Thaksin Shinawatra, who was, here you have to use the word ousted, not ousted, ousted from power. So where is that word? H is the answer. Ousted from power in 2006. Prior to the May elections, Pew Thai had only one word you're left with, vowed, D, to keep the military out of politics, only to walk back on its promises. Now the $1 million question, who got all the 8 correct? If someone says I got all the 8 correct, wonderful. That is highly appreciable and admirable. Let us go to idioms. First you see the meanings and you have to select the appropriate idiom. No one has responded too wrong. You were a bit hasty. 6. Many students have got 6, 1, 5, 6 again. That means 6 is good. 2 you could not. I'm not giving enough time. See, here you should be very happy. 5 out of 8 also you should be very happy. What is the reason? This is a live session and you are not getting enough time. Immediately I'm asking what is the word, what is the word. In spite of that, you got 5 out of 8, you should be extremely happy. In the actual exam, you may get more time. Do remember, always feel positive about your score because this is a live session. You are not getting enough time to respond. To dismiss employees from their jobs, to fire employees US, and to sack employees UK. Answer is layoff C. But before we go to the next one, I would like to give pink slip. To give the pink slip, it takes the verb give, means the same. He got the pink slip. On the spot, you have to leave the office. Being optimistic, very good. I appreciate that. Who is this Manasa? And getting a pink slip, it also takes the verb get. He got a pink slip. We also use a little rude. Then we say, you're very annoyed. I showed him the door. Two meanings, show the door. One is terminate the services. The other one, ask someone to get out of the room. But generally here we mean terminate the services. Pink slip, that's right. Now you go to the second one. To stop being distracted and to focus on work. To it is not be, no. Sudhir diehard fans, who is this? Answer got it right. Knuckle down. Second one, to stop being distracted and to focus on work. Let us knuckle down and continue with the work. To submit, to deliver work. Here we have to use hand in. Hand in also goes with resignation, papers. To become exhausted from work, easy to answer. What is the answer for the fourth one? Yes, Rajshekhar, Kavita, Shyam, Suresh all got right. Anusha, but go to the fourth one. Suresh is the first one to respond fourth. Suresh says A. Perfect. Answer is what? Burnout. Usually heavy work, hectic work, tight schedules, and deadlines. Burnout. It results in burnout. Exhausted. You get exhausted. To perform work or to do a job, carry out. But generally we use carry out. They carried out the project means what? You have to know the word execute, implement. These are the words you have to think of. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. Knackered. Madhav has come out with drained out. Very good. Drain out. Completely drained out. Knackered. All of you, please look at the comments. Defatigable. Indefatigable. Cannot be exhausted. It has been a long day. Ah, wonderful. Tripura Sundari. Wonderful. I appreciate that. Do remember to subscribe and share. And sometimes if I don't respond, yes, Saturday I could not. I was held up in a meeting. Try to understand. I appreciate that. Thank you for being with me till the fag end of the session.